All right, we're back. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time here on Monday evening. Is my hairline receding yet? It probably will by the end of the week. I'll tell you, some of the stuff I've seen this afternoon and early this evening on other TV stations, on social media, on apps. I mean, yikes. We've got so much to talk about here on Weather for Weather Geeks this evening. Of course, everybody's buzzing about the weekend storm, and that's what I'm referring to in my snark. But before we get to the potential for some snow later this week and into the weekend, quick review of this morning. It was really cold. It was our coldest morning since last February. It's been almost exactly 11 months since we have been this cold. It was 11 degrees at the airport this morning, and in some localized areas, the colder nooks and crannies, temperatures did get down into the single digits first thing this morning, including about 8 Berlin Center and Austintown, 9 in Columbiana, 10 Mercer, and Sandy Lake. All right, real quick review of the weekend. We had that kind of nuisance system that moved through. Overall, I'd give our forecast B+ out of this. This was our final snow map Friday evening. What I should have done probably is brought the 1 to 3 zone more like this to cover more of this area. There are a lot of places in here that got even close to 2 inches. But otherwise, pretty good forecast. Some places hit the top end of the range, especially down here, and that's what we expected. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with the weekend snow forecast. All right, let's start looking forward. Not much to talk about the next couple of days. Today, after that cold start, it turned out to be a fairly sunny morning and midday before the clouds returned. I think tomorrow is going to be a cloudier day. Pretty cold day as a result. All right, as we head into the day Wednesday, weak cold front heads our way. We've got some flurries and snow showers in the forecast for Wednesday, maybe even a touch of drizzle or freezing drizzle at the start of the day Wednesday. That might be something we have to watch out for. But otherwise, this is fairly low impact, I think. System number 1 heads our way Thursday. This is kind of the appetizer for the weekend system. This is not going to be a big storm. This is more in the nuisance category, but that being said, if you plan on being on the roads midday into the afternoon on Thursday, heads up about this. This is coming in around lunchtime, and while this might eventually change to some mixed precipitation towards evening, for at least a few hours it should snow at a pretty good clip, and untreated surfaces will probably try to get kind of slick Thursday afternoon. Here's a look at the model spread. Much like the end of last week, the RPM's just not playing ball. I'm not sure what the deal with the RPM is. Even the NAM doesn't have too much, but I like what the GFS and European models are showing here. About an inch. I wouldn't even be surprised if we clocked 2 inches in some spots by the end of the afternoon on Thursday. So, kind of like the weekend system, more in the nuisance category, but still can be impactful if you plan on being out and about in the afternoon. All right, let's start talking about the weekend. Let's not waste any time here. If you watched my video from this morning and followed me on social media throughout the day, I noted that the system that will eventually become our weekend system is still up over the Aleutian Islands, which is kind of in the southwestern part of Alaska. Still has a lot of ocean to go over, and then crossing the entire U.S. And with that much distance between here and there, there's still a lot of things that the modeling is likely getting wrong with regard to the track, with regard to the precipitation amounts, and that sort of thing. And that's to be expected. This is Monday. This is coming Saturday. We're 5 days out. We expect the models to not exactly be super reliable this far out. We use them as a tool, and we know because we have all these models at our disposal that there's a storm coming. But the fine granular details, we got to wait on those. After a quiet day Friday, I think the grocery stores are going to be pretty busy on Friday because that's going to be a quiet day for a lot of people to run their errands in preparation for the weekend. Now, what I'm going to show you here is the latest run of the European model. I could show you a lot of models tonight, but I don't want this video to be 25 minutes long. I'm going to show you this, taken literally, and what I mean by that is if this were exactly right, which is very unlikely 5 days out, but let's say for the sake of argument, this is exactly what's going to happen. If you take this literally, this is pretty much a perfect track for a big snowstorm for us. It's not too far to the north, but it's not so far to the south that we are not in the highest moisture content. We're in that sweet spot where we have the highest moisture content, but the air that's warm enough to produce something other than snow is just to our south. So this is like a dream scenario if you want a whole bunch of snow in the Youngstown area. Now, again, taken literally, this would suggest sleet and some sort of mixed precipitation. Tries to get up to about Wheeling and Steubenville, and that's about as far north. But it's not a very big distance between around here and Wheeling and Steubenville. Say this track is off, say it's too far south by 25, 30 miles. Then you're going to have to start talking about mixed precipitation somewhere in our viewing area, and that's going to cut down on snow totals dramatically. These are all things that we just don't know, and we're not going to know for a few days. Whatever happens on Saturday, I think it's going to start to wind down on Sunday. I'm fairly confident in that timing, that Saturday night could be really tough. Sunday morning could be really tough. By Sunday afternoon, the story transitions into, wow, is it windy and cold. Look how tightly packed together these isobars are. But the snow accumulations more than likely will be wrapping up by lunchtime on Sunday. And then easily the coldest day of the season coming in for Sunday, Sunday night, and into Monday. If you follow me again on social media, I posted earlier that wind chills are probably way, way below zero Sunday night, Monday morning. It's the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on Monday, so students and teachers are already off. Not many snow days so far this school year, so some students and teachers may not be happy with what would probably be a day off, or at least a 2-hour delay on Monday morning on a day they already have off. That being said, hang in there. I think it's probably just about as cold, albeit a little less windy, by Tuesday morning. All right. And again, if you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, some of these graphics are going to be repeats for you, but I'll elaborate a little bit here. This is just what we know and what we don't know. Again, we know a storm is going to cross the region. We know the timing. It's not going to be Friday. It's going to be over the weekend. Arriving at some point Saturday, leaving at some point on Sunday. We're too far out to get into real specifics as far as what exact time of the day, but I suspect it comes in during the daylight hour Saturday and winds down before lunchtime Sunday, but stay tuned on that. Here's what we don't know. We do not know how much snow to expect. There's going to be snow. There's very likely going to be enough to shovel and plow and cause some travel disruptions. Whether that means X number of inches or Y number of inches, we don't know that. We don't know the exact track of the storm, and we're probably not going to know for a few days. And because we don't know that, we can't rule out something other than snow trying to get involved. And the exact track of a winter storm, especially a big major winter storm, it means everything. Because subtle differences in the track can be the difference in some locations getting a few inches of snow and a whole lot more because they get into a sleet zone, and that cuts down on the snow. Again, just things that I can't rule out at this early stage, but that's one of the many, many reasons why we don't even show on the air computer model snow output this far out. It's just not a good idea. Here's a look at our forecast confidence level, similar to the last graphic. Pretty low confidence in the storm track of any winter storm this far out. High confidence in the timing. That's the only thing I'm really confident about. Medium confidence on precip type, unless there's a big change in the track. This is probably still mostly snow. But even if there's small changes in the track, we might have to talk about something other than snow for a while. It's never going to be just an all-rainstorm. It's not going to be just an all-sleet event. There's going to be snow. But we don't know yet if there's something other than snow. And snow amounts, low confidence, no kidding, this far out. All right, so if you live on a street that typically is plowed pretty well, even in big storms, you typically don't have to worry about being snowed in for days. Despite the shelves emptying with bread and milk, a lot of people are inconvenienced by big snowstorms, but not necessarily. It's not necessary to hunker down for days. But there are exceptions to that. Some people live in rural areas. Some places do not get plowed out well. The elderly typically, of course, get shut in for several days in big major snowstorms. And here's kind of I kind of cooked up this graphic today, showing you a breakdown of the timeline. When we're this far out, you start thinking about, hey, what if this is a big storm? What does that mean for me and my plans and my livelihood for a few days? When we're 2 to 3 days out, say by Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday, that's when we're going to start talking about, hey, here's how much snow we expect. And that's when you make a judgment call. Hey, this is what I probably need to do, and start activating your plans and finalize those preparations. Probably Friday and Friday evening, that's going to be the prime time to finalize preparations. If everything works out on the timing on this coming in on Saturday, Friday's going to be the day a lot of people prepare, whether you're preparing to just be inconvenienced or whether you're preparing for potentially being snowed in for a couple or a handful of days. This is just the start of what promises to be a pretty blockbuster winter pattern that's going to last a couple of weeks. I've been hinting at this in previous editions of Weather for Weather Geeks. This is part of our winter forecast made 2.5 months ago, that the back end of winter would be when winter really shows its teeth. And it's a huge change from the last couple of winters where winter sort of whimpered at the end, and we had some really warm weather in February. This pattern that's going to lock in the 8 to 14 day period looks cold. It probably stormy as well, and that probably has some staying power into at least the first week of February, if not the first half of February. So those of us who were enjoying the month-long break that we had from winter weather, really from about the 10th of December through about the 10th of January, boy, we're going to pay the piper here, it looks like over the next couple of weeks. We've got you covered here, whether it be on the app, on social media, on the website, on TV. This is where you need to come for the straight dope, the no hype, the no unnecessary, scaring you to death forecasts. I railed against the Weather Channel app a little bit on my Facebook and Twitter yesterday. This is when all the hype started, when people looked at their Weather Channel app and saw, holy cow, look at all these numbers for next weekend. If you're using an app, chances are if you're watching this video, you know better. But if you're using an app like that, like the Weather Channel, that is largely computer model driven and automated, it's going to disappoint you more often than not, because the forecasts are going to change and fluctuate at the whims of the computer models. And while some of the numbers that are in there right now, who am I to say that the numbers that are in there right now, if you looked at your Weather Channel app right now, the numbers that are in there might work out perfectly. Who am I to say? But that doesn't mean that it's right that they put in those numbers this early. And again, more often than not, those numbers are going to be off by a fair degree if they're in a forecast for a storm that's over the Gulf of Alaska and not heading our way till the weekend. So again, stick with us. Local forecasts are the way to go in huge or even moderately impactful winter weather events. Thanks for watching tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Of course, on this video, we're really going to have you covered this week with some long videos, long analysis. I'll do some text posts on my blog throughout the week as well if you're more of a reader. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11.